Whew. Tonight we are catching an overnight train in Vietnam. It's currently about 6 o'clock and our first class sleeper train leaves in 30 minutes.
Just checking out. The whole journey should take about 11 hours. We're leaving from here in Nha Trang, heading 500 kilometers north, and if all goes to plan, we should arrive in Da Nang at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning.
You can book these tickets online, but we came here yesterday and booked in person, and that's for two reasons. The first is it actually saved us a little bit of money in booking fees, and the second is we guaranteed ourselves the bottom bunk, which we know from experience is far superior.
I am super grateful that we ate before we came here, because generally we just assume that there's going to be some sort of food option at the train station. Turns out in Nha Trang there is a cafe that sells some ice creams and a mini mart with some potato chips.
Train SE22 is arriving on track 1. For your own safety, please do not cross the tracks in the station unless absolutely necessary. If you need to cross the tracks, please follow any instructions of the railway staff.
Ooh, we're looking for 13.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, how are you? This is us. Wow, this is so much better than the last Vietnam train we got. As you can probably tell, I don't think we're going to be alone tonight, so I want to do a super quick tour while we're not interrupting other people's sleep. This is first class, which might seem odd given that we have to share a room. I think you normally think first class means at the front of the plane, something private. In Vietnam trains, that is not the case. So we have these, you know, decently thick mattresses. The sheets look really clean. Decor, 10 out of 10. Doesn't that look like it's the window and you're just driving past a sunset? There's little foot things. You have to be quite flexible and don't wear a skirt, because if you're up on the top bunk, oh, it's a bit of a workout. We have the two bottom bunks. It looks like we get a pretty plushy pillow. Doesn't smell super clean. It's okay. A comforter, which I would say I can't imagine using, but on our last train, the air conditioner was blasting.
So I was freezing a lot of the night.
So, might need this. It looks like everybody has their own little night light that has a USB charger as well. Super handy. A cute little desk. This is a benefit of having the bottom bunk. We get to use this. Top bunk looks like they get some storage above and all of the switches, so they're in charge of the lights, I think. Curtains. Ow! Whoa! You know on a bus you normally have one of those little air conditioner controls? Turns out there's not air conditioning in here. There's just 50 of those. I don't know why that's so funny. Let's just do 50. Turns out there is also hooks and hangers in case you need to hang some things, a bin and proper outlets. So we could charge our laptops if we want to. There is also a quintessential Southeast Asia thing, and that is shoes. Inside shoes. I'm assuming these are actually for you to take and wear to the bathroom, because it is kind of annoying to have to put on your sneakers every time you want to go to the bathroom, because obviously you're not going barefoot, right? Don't do that. I used to hate when people did that on the planes.
So this is the first class option, as Emily was saying, but it is a 4-berth. There is also a second class option, which is 6-berth, and a second class seated option, which is literally like a bus seat for the entire 11 hours. And please don't do that one. That one would hurt so much. But over the last couple of years, they have actually introduced like a private VIP class, they're calling it, and it's a cabin just like this, but only 2 beds. Now we couldn't come to Vietnam for a second time and do all these different trains and not experience that. So our next leg is going to be in that super expensive, super luxurious private cabin.
Bye-bye, money.
Please watch our YouTube videos. We need to get that money back.
If you know us, you know that we love train travel, and I'm super excited to be comparing tonight's experience to what will, I'm sure, be a better experience in a couple of days' time.
It is 6:29 right now, so the train should leave in about 1 minute, which means we might be alone for the start. That's some pretty flowers.
I know. know.
From a very, very brief introduction, this train looks magnitudes better than the last train we took.
In Vietnam, there are different train types, like government-run ones and more private tourist ones. But this is the same level that we took 2 years ago, and it feels infinitely better. Right? We had dirty sheets, I'm pretty sure, and she like yelled at me for asking for clean ones. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
While we're stopped, I thought I'd run to the bathroom so it's quiet and you can hear me for a super quick toilet tour. It seems like there is one Western and one Squatty Potty almost per carriage. Our carriage technically doesn't have one. You have to cross over to the next section to be able to access the bathroom. There is a toilet, a bidet, a bin, toilet paper, and a sink with running water, as well as a little mirror. It is quite wet in here because of the bidet. Honestly, it's really not that bad. It doesn't smell too bad yet. There is a window, so that should open and help with the smell during the night. Pretty good. Wow, you have to press and hold the flush for 8 seconds. All in all, I'd give this a C+, maybe a B-.
It is 6:53 and we haven't left yet. So according to our tickets and everything that's available online, we should be getting into Da Nang at 5:55 in the morning, but we're already running late. So I think to make this interesting, we're gonna put a clock on this. We should get there in 11 hours. Hope that graphic works. How much?
40.
40.
Yes.
Thank you so much. What did you buy? Oh, thank you. That was such a nice surprise. Everything happened all at once. Ooh. And it continues. Xinjiao. We took off. I was in the bathroom. A lady with a food cart came by. So Jordan got us some miscellaneous fruit that apparently is mango. I don't know what that is.
I asked, she said, it's mango, and I said, but what's that? And she just smiled, just like, should we make the beds? Yes. I do feel like that's thicker than the last train as well.
Whoa. I'll be the first to admit that I have recency bias, and I think maybe my excitement got the better of me that we were alone in this cabin for a while. It looked a lot newer than what I had expected. Turns out it's not as clean as I thought. There are some hairs on the sheets, which makes me think that they don't get changed between people. The toilet, upon reflection and me going back to actually use it, definitely is like a C or C-. Probably a C-. I think I'm still being nice. I'm trying to be harsh so you have the right expectations.
Alright, now what do we do?
I don't know.
What art is that?
Kind of looks like guava.
Guava, it might be.
Ah.
I don't think it's meant to be that hard and dry.
Ooh, it's quite sour.
Money well spent.
There is plenty of room for bags in here, even if we had 2 guests that also had rolly bags like us. I have rearranged my section. So I have my rolly bag around here, and then my backpack, and then I'm gonna have my handbag the closest to my head. Because of my anxiety, if someone opens the door during the night, they'll take my rolly bag, the bag I care least about. Then, if they're still going for my stuff, they'll get my backpack, the bag I kinda care about. By then I should be awake and like getting them before they get to the one I really care about, my handbag.
It's only 8 o'clock, got a nice early teeth brush, always hits well. I'm going to do some nighttime exploring before we settle into bed. I That's definitely new. I had no idea there was like a restaurant cart on board. There's a full menu and everything you can order from, and it kind of looked and smelled good. Kind of wish I spoke Vietnamese because they looked like they were having a really good time. I'm gonna try to the back of the train. Alright, I found the second class sleeper, which is the 6 bunks, but I think I only got to the carriage that was the workmen, people that are on the train, where they sleep. And I can't get any further, so I couldn't get through to see the second class, but it is getting bumpier. Jeez. Apparently some of the cabins have hot and cold water. You could just like get 2-minute noodles and cook them yourself.
What did you find?
Found the dining car.
Ooh.
And I barely got any shots of it because all the workers were like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "Ah!" But it got super rocky on my way back. I was like,
Yeah. What's the restaurant car like?
"It smells good."
That's nice.
No one spoke any English,
Yeah.
and I didn't speak any Vietnamese.
I'm not that hungry anyway. We ate dinner beforehand.
Yeah.
I didn't think that there'd be a restaurant car.
No, that's gotta be new.
At the same time, the VIP, like 2 sleeper cabins came in. Seems like they had a revamp.
We still don't have roommates, but I think it's late enough now that we're gonna turn the lights off, try to get some sleep, hopefully not be woken up immediately.
I guess, unless anything eventful happens, we'll see you in the morning.
It's 5:35 and we're getting very close. This whole journey was a private cabin for us.
No one came in, but every time we stopped, the announcement was so loud, and every time it went off, I was like, oh, this will be the time someone comes in, and no one ever did.
We should pack up.
How are you so energetic?
Those trains are fun.
Woken up with a very classical music, potentially the Vietnamese anthem. Then the sweet lady came and knocked on the door and confirmed what we believed to be true, that these sheets do not get switched out, they just get folded up for the next person. It's a penguin. No, thank you.
And we've officially made it to Da Nang.
We were scheduled to arrive at 5:55 and it is 6:11 now, so that's pretty good.
Despite leaving like half an hour late, that's not bad. They made up time for sure. I would say the bed themselves are thicker than I remember, and I got some pretty good sleep on them. But we woke up every couple of hours for the announcement of the next stop, which was really loud.
It genuinely felt like every time they played it, they turned it up a notch. Like during the middle of the night, I swear it was the loudest thing I've ever heard.
There was also a point where it felt like a washing machine, like it was a really rough.
I quite like that though, it like rocks me to sleep.
Not for me.
And we had the cabin all to ourselves. Every time the announcement went off that we were stopping at a new station, I was like, this is it. This is when someone comes in. Also, I need to invest in some form of eye mask that has like headphones, because I don't like sleeping with my big over-ear ones, but I sleep better with them. And I just had my t-shirt over my eyes, so it was very makeshift.
Anyway, our journey does not stop here. We're actually catching another bus or taxi or something to Hoi An, another couple of hours down the road, but we're not going to film it.
Let's go get a coffee.